The Detroit Lions just got their revenge on the Dallas Cowboys. 47-9. Oh my gosh. The Lions just won by 38 points. In Dallas, the Cowboys didn't score a touchdown. This is the best time to be alive. The Cowboys only had 251 yards of total offense, and they didn't even put up double-digit points. 3 Brandon Aubrey field goals is all she wrote. Just a perfect game. You can't tell me the Lions didn't win last year. Decker reported, and I was hoping Detroit would go in there, not take their foot off the gas pedal. The game was over at halftime. The Lions started calling trick plays in the end zone. They were toying with the Cowboys all game long. Skip Bayless is defeated that the Lions were calling trick plays. Tom Brady said, maybe you shouldn't have this trickery. Come on. Did anyone remember what happened last year? The Lions were robbed. They should have won. And you can't let people forget what happened back in 2015 in the playoffs. Detroit has received slander and horrible things from Dallas for almost a decade. And this game here was the revenge for it all. And what makes it even better, the Cowboys losing at home in the playoffs, getting destroyed by the Packers last season, and the Lions going to the NFC Championship game. A lot of Cowboys fans haven't even seen their team make it that far in the playoffs in their entire life. Amazing. And there's not a better day that this game could have been played on. Jerry Jones's birthday, sitting up there in his booth, watching his $231 million quarterback get pulled and not even finish the game and not throw a touchdown pass. The Lions offense was unstoppable. I know they're missing Micah Parsons, but this Cowboys defense is awful. And when they're going up against the best offense in the NFL, it's not going to be close. Jameson Williams, Tim Patrick, what a catch. How is there not PI called in that play? What do you expect? You're in Dallas playing the Cowboys. And the beginning of the game, I felt like the Lions were getting screwed by the refs a little bit. That first interception for Kirby Joseph that was called back for a holding call on Branch, but Branch wasn't next to any player. And then the broadcast showed Anzalone having a little bit of contact with someone. The flag was thrown after the interception. There was a few other plays that it's like weak contact. Sure, it could be a penalty, maybe a 50-50, could go either way. And the penalty is called after the play ends in the Lions' favor. But it doesn't matter. 47-9. This game just further proves that the Cowboys only beat up on bad teams, and they couldn't even blow out the Giants 2 weeks ago. And who knows, can they even do that anymore? The Lions' run game, unbelievable. That offensive line, stellar. And David Montgomery, he got paid. He loves Detroit. 12 carries for 80 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was a workhorse again. Some highlight reels in that first touchdown. Unbelievable. Just almost every play from every single player on the roster. This end of the year highlights best plays from the season for Detroit is going to feed families. Jameson Williams bomb touchdown coming out of halftime. Laporta on the flea flicker. Branch with 2 interceptions and the forced fumble with the Terrion Arnold recovery. Tim Patrick again, that catch. Oh my goodness. I've never seen something so amazing in my life. For everyone questioning, the Lions need a wide receiver 3. The Lions wide receiver core is too weak. Jameson Williams, 3 receptions for 76 yards. And I love after he has that drop, they go right back to him. That's how you show you have confidence in your players and in your team, and he's going to grow from that, and the team is going to benefit as a whole. Raymond, 4 receptions, 73 yards. Tim Patrick, 3 receptions, 68 yards. They're all averaging over 18 yards a reception. Laporta had 1 for 52. St. Brown had 4 for 37, and just St. Brown on the out routes. He's so good at catching the ball and getting his feet in, so consistent. He doesn't have drops. 2 weeks ago against Seattle, we saw him do the same thing. The toe tap, it's just on point. And Ben Johnson has figured out the offense, and they're in a groove. I don't think anybody can beat this team. They play the Vikings next week. That is going to be a matchup. Everyone's on the Vikings defense. It's so good. Their secondary is good. Brian Flores is doing a great job. But I think this Lions offense is going to expose them. I know the Vikings beat a strong 49ers team and a strong Texans team, 2 Super Bowl contenders, but the 49ers are missing a ton of key players. And the Texans, I don't think the Texans are as strong on all fronts. A lot of things just run through CJ Stroud. And Ben Johnson runs his offense so well. Everything goes through the run game. Jared Goff hands it off to Montgomery, hands it off to Gibbs. They're picking up 5-10 yards every single play. In this game, both of them had 12 carries, and that was through 3 quarters. Did either of them even take a snap in the 4th quarter? Monty, 80 yards off those 12 carries, 2 touchdowns, 6.7 yards per carry. Gibbs, 5.2. Rarely teams are doing that around the league, and no other team is doing that consistently every single week. And that allows for things like Jared Goff's perfect game. Everything goes through the run game and then the play action. Jared Goff doesn't have to throw the ball very many times. We saw in Seattle. Perfect game, not many attempts, over 300 yards passing. This game, 18 completions, 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's otherworldly. That play action the Lions run, I'll have to show a breakdown on it. I watched a few other videos. How hard it is for these defenders to know if it's a run or not. And if it's a run, they have to get up there and help because their front line can't take down these running backs against this offensive core. And if it's a pass play, they're behind and they have to guard Jameson Williams, St. Brown, Tim Patrick, Raymond, Gibbs out of the backfield, Monty out of the backfield, Laporta, Brock Wright. They can't do it all. I really wanted Decker to get that touchdown. It looked like he reported earlier in the game, and then Monty had his second touchdown, and then they had to play, and he almost got it. Good D by the Cowboys there. And then the Sewell play, that was hilarious. They just kept piling on the trick plays. He was upset with the ref. Did he go more than a yard downfield? I'm not too sure. It would have been a touchdown. I think his knee was barely down, but I never looked at the play in slow motion. He could have been in. And talk about the defensive line. Aleem McNeil, 2 sacks. He showed out. That was great for him. And let's take a moment of silence for Aiden Hutchinson. That was bad. Really took the win out of everybody. Heartbreaking because he was definitely on pace to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's heartbreaking because he's a big part of that defense. He's a big part of the Lions culture. He's a leader there. His attitude is great. If you've ever watched the interview, he's just a stand-up man. Super humble, great guy. Well, I've never met him, but just from what I've seen, he seems like an all-out player. Just a stud. Like, just a great person. And it's horrible to see anybody get injured. And it definitely sucks even more when it's your star player and when it's to that severity where they have to get carted off the field. Hopefully everything works out. I have no idea about recoveries from a broken leg. Definitely shattered both of them. Just crazy that his leg was swinging around, and just from that of how fast he was going to get Dak, and then Aleem McNeil trying to get there too. That just 2 strong men going full speed. His leg just hits Aleem's leg and just breaks. Just to show how hard these NFL players are working out there on the field, and it's gonna be a blow to the Lions. But I think hopefully it will fuel the fire. The Lions hopefully can continue with a strong pass rush. Hopefully Hutchinson gets better. Maybe he'll be able to get back for playoffs. I doubt it, though, because that looked like it was a pretty bad injury. I just hope this Lions team rallies around that. They fight hard for him, and that Aiden Hutchinson can get through this. He's a strong man. Hopefully he can get through this, the recovery, the physical therapy, and maybe play football again. You know, it could be a question. Will he even be the same when he comes back? Just hopefully he can get through this and get back out on the field, and prayers out to him. But back to the rest of the game. Fuck the Cowboys. Just perfect day. Nothing could have gone better except not having Hutch get hurt. Overall, I felt like there was a few penalties that were a little fishy, especially in the beginning, but maybe it's just because I was looking out for those, and I'm used to the Cowboys getting calls going their ways. I'm used to the Lions getting screwed by the refs. It's kind of weird having the Lions win all the time and being expected to win because my whole life has just been beatdown after beatdown and heartbreak after heartbreak. Recently, I just think about that Swift drop touchdown in the end zone to beat the Bears week 1 with Stafford. I don't know why. A few things have reminded me of that, but it's just not the same anymore. It's totally different, and I got a bone to pick. I think that's always a funny saying. Sometimes it's cringe, I don't know. But I have a bone to pick, for real. There has been a lot of conversation around the internet, and maybe I'm just on the internet too much. I probably am. I shouldn't be on Twitter for an hour a day. I shouldn't be reading Reddit threads about the Lions. There's been a lot of people complaining about the Jared Goff chants. And to them, if you're one of those people that don't like them, I'm sorry, but it's just sad. Jared Goff has brought something to Detroit that has been missing for decades. A playoff victory for the team, but not just 1, 2 playoff victories, almost winning the NFC Championship game last year. Looking like this year is going to be a 3rd straight winning season for the Lions. 13-4 last year. They beat the Cowboys. If you're against the Jared Goff chance, I saw someone saying when the Red Wings are playing the Predators, big win there. I don't know why they can't beat the Pens, but then they will shut out a potential Stanley Cup contender. But there was chance for Jared Goff at that game, and people were complaining, we're at a Red Wings game. Stop chanting the Jared Goff thing. And I saw people saying Dylan Larkin's been with the Red Wings for X amount of years and nobody chants his name. Well, Jared Goff came to Detroit, was doubted, was hated, and now they're winning. After all this time, Dylan Larkin, did he lead the Red Wings to playoff victories last year? Jared Goff has instilled hope and grit into this city, and it's been gone forever. It's been missing forever. I love Matthew Stafford, but never won a playoff game. I'm not saying I dislike him, but Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn catches a lot of strays. How about shutting down that Dallas offense? And of course, Brad Holmes, the stud, the best GM in the NFL. The Jared Goff chant is for all of Detroit, it's for the Lions. And if you dislike it, I feel like it's kind of just telling me that you haven't been watching the Lions for the last decade. You haven't been watching the Tigers, the Red Wings, which is fine. There's a lot more Lions fans right now than there were 3 years ago. There's a lot more people watching the game, which is okay. You walk out in a Lions jersey, now people are like, yeah, go Lions. You do that a few years ago, they're just like, once in a while, you might have someone say, hey, hope they can win this weekend. There's nothing wrong with people tuning in now that the Lions are good and that they're exciting and there's a lot of hope and energy around the team. But don't hate on something just because you don't understand it. There's nothing to hate about the Jared Goff chance. And maybe I'm just in a deep internet hole and 99% of the people out there have not heard people complain about the Jared Goff chance. That could easily be the case. I just probably have to get off the internet. But huge win for the Lions. So good to have revenge on the Cowboys. Fuck the Cowboys. Fuck the Packers, even though they continue to win week after week. Big game against the Vikings next week for first place in the NFC North. We're going to have a tough rest of the year. Got to play the Bears twice, Packers twice, Vikings twice. Caleb Williams threw 4 touchdowns in London. Jordan Love is having success just throwing jump balls. Hope Carlton Davis is okay too, man. He got hit in the head hard. There's a lot more to talk about from this game and next week's game. For starters, though, there's a lot to celebrate.